Hey guys, it's Josie, and today I'm going to show you how I made a reversible cape with a hood. So I was making this for a couple different Halloween costumes and decided to use the colors red and black, but obviously you can use whatever colors you like. So let's just get right into the video. These are the two fabrics that I will be using for this project. So I have a red and a black because I'm making these for a couple different Halloween costumes. So they are 100% cotton, 144 inches by 44 inches. So I have 4 yards of each fabric. Starting with my red fabric, I went ahead and folded it in half long ways so that the 144 inches turned into 72 inches. And this is just so that it's one, easier to work with, and two, it's going to give me more fabric going around my shoulders for the actual cape itself, since the fabric isn't very wide. Now, if I did just use the one panel like this, it would still work fine, but I wanted to add more volume with the cape, so I went ahead and folded it half long ways, and then I just went ahead and laid beside it and marked out sort of how tall I wanted the cape to be in comparison to myself. So we're going to be cutting off 14 inches on the end here, and then the part that I'm cutting off is going to be used for the hood of the cape, and then I will have some extra afterwards. And because I have plenty of fabric, I'm not worried about how much seam allowance I'm going to need or anything like that. And I'm just going to kind of go with it and then do the seam allowance when I'm actually sewing and keep it the same throughout. But I'm not going to measure out seam allowance or anything like that, just because I do have plenty of fabric to work with. Now that I've cut that piece off of the bottom, I have two main pieces here. That's going to be the cape portion, and then this piece here I'm going to cut out the shape of a hood so that I can attach it to the cape itself, and then I'm going to repeat the same exact process with the black fabric. For the hood, I'm just going to go ahead and leave this section folded, and I'm going to line up this seam of the hood with the edge of the fabric, so that I don't have to cut here, and then I'll just follow this curve around and then cut off any extra here. And I'm going to go ahead and leave a little bit of room for seam allowance. I don't need to add seam allowance to hem the fabric. I just need seam allowance to sew this part of the hood closed, and then I need a little bit on the front here for when we sew the red and black fabric together. So now I have the hood for the red part of the cape, and then I have the base piece for the cape as well. And then again, I'll be sewing down the side here so that it creates one panel instead of two. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and get my black fabric ready, because I want to cut out this same exact hood shape for the black fabric. So now we have both of our hoods, the red one and the black one, and then we also have both of the long panels that are going to make up the body of the actual cape. So again, on each main panel, I'm going to sew a seam long ways down one side of the red and long ways down one side of the black. And then I'm also going to sew this curved seam on the red and the black separately. And then I will be able to attach them right sides together, so we can have the right side of the red and the right side of the black both facing out. now that I've made both panels of the cape and both of the hoods, we are going to sew them all right sides together. So I'm going to start with the hoods because I think that's going to be a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to turn one of them inside out again, and then leave the other right side out, and put the one that's the right side out inside the inside out one, so that you have right side to right side, and the wrong sides will be on the outside for right now. Now we can sew along all of the sides here, and I will be leaving a little opening so we can turn this right side out. This is what the hood looks like now that I've turned it right side out. So you can see we have the red on the inside and the black on the outside, and then we can easily switch it to having the red on the outside and the black on the inside. And then we'll just have this little seam on the end here that I'll have to close, but I'm going to wait to do that so that I can do the bottom thread as one of the colors and the top thread as a different color, so that the colors blend in with the fabric. Now I can sew the holes closed from where I turned each piece inside out. So I went ahead and put my black bobbin thread in the bottom, and then I have red thread on the top so that I can keep the same color thread with the same color fabric. Now I'm going to sew along one of the long sides of the cape so that I can gather the fabric and actually make it into the cape instead of just a really long rectangle. And then also with gathering it, that will be helpful so that it fits the length of the hood as well. So this is what the final cape looks like, and this is what the red side looks like. And then here is the all black side. And because of the way I made it as well, I can either pin it in the front so you can't see underneath, or I can push the front panels back a little bit so that you can see the color that's on the inside. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more, you can like and subscribe down below, or leave a comment on what you want to see next, and have a nice day.